Hey guys, so some Genshin Impact content. I saw this. It said shocking moments. I wouldn't say shocking, more surprising, I guess. Shocking just sounds like it's really kind of pushing it. Surprising. I mean, some people may be shocked. I don't know. Shocking moments, cutscenes from Archon quests. I did see a like quest and cutscene. I might do that one later, like in a different video, because this one's already 30 minutes long. And obviously keeping in mind that I'm probably going to talk a little bit about these moments. So it's probably going to be a longer video. And obviously, like the disclaimer says, spoilers, because if you haven't played these Archon quests, you're going to get spoiled. So if you haven't done them, turn away now, because I don't want to hear people in the comments complaining that I spoiled it. You clicked on the video, so I mean, surely, don't call me Shirley. Surely should have known what you were getting into. So now that the excuses from everyone are out of the way, the following clips have in-game heavy spoilers. You have been warned. And these are the shocking moments cutscenes from the Archon quests. And I believe they're in order, starting from Mondstadt all the way up to Natland. So.
At last, Mondstadt's rodent ruler in the flesh. Scurrying through the streets looking for leftovers. Mondstadt calls this a god?
Resident rodent beats invasive vermin.
Don't you dare speak back to me, insolent bard. Absentee Archon of Mondstadt. How impotent you've become.
That smirky wear looks out of place. Did you steal it from your master's face?
Should have held your tongue. So, this is a gnosis. Wouldn't be caught dead wearing this ugly thing in public.
Beauty is a waste when the beholder has no taste. Fenty!
I'm sorry, that one caught me off guard, because all I hear is that freaking quote. There's a YouTuber, what's his name, Mr. Feet, and he does, like, can you beat Genshin Impact using only this character? And every time it gets to Liyue, he always does this. And then you go visit this person, and, you the harbor, and this and that. And he always plays that cutscene. Rex Lapis assassinated at the rite of dissension. And then you have the ride and show, but Venti. Oh, okay. So theory is Venti wanted his gnosis taken. If you notice, all the other Archons have their gnosis taken from them. Zhongli gives his up willingly. We find out that Miko gave hers, or gave the gnosis to, gave it away. But it's kind of a theme where the gods no longer want to be connected to Celestia. So I think Venti willingly lost his gnosis. He doesn't need it. He doesn't need it. He's already powerful enough. Like, the vision he has, it's fake. He's a wind spirit. And he's also the animal Archon. He doesn't need a vision. So I think that he kind of wanted it taken away. But it was kind of surprising when you first saw it, because, I think we knew at that, obviously, I think we pretty sure we knew at that point that Venti was, in fact, Barbados, the animal Archon. And to see him just casually just overpowered by, someone, it was kind of awkward. But considering how he kept just throwing insults back at her just to kind of piss her off even more, I think he knew what he was doing. I think he was just trying to lose his gnosis, give a reason to, had a reason to get rid of it. At the rite of dissension. Hopefully, if they're doing what I think they're doing, once it gets to the rite But yeah, Signora showing up and just like bodying Venti, this powerful animal Archon, even though he was the weaker of the Archons. Weaker doesn't mean he's, you know, he's incredibly powerful. He completely changed the way Mondstadt is, you know, with the climate, and he made it habitable for everyone. You know, the Golden Apple Archipelago, that was part of Mondstadt that he blasted into the ocean. Like, it's not even near Mondstadt anymore. That's how far he blasted that mountaintop. Hence why when you go there, you can find the dandelions. The dandelions only grow in Mondstadt, and yet you go to the Golden Apple Archipelago, and you can find them there because it used to be part of Mondstadt until he casually just blasted it with his wind into the ocean. So he's not weak by any stretch of the imagination. It's just the power of the gods are derived from the faith in the people. He's the god of freedom. They can choose to believe in him or choose not to. He doesn't care. He doesn't really want to rule over anyone. He wants everyone to have free will. That's why Mondstadt's the city of freedom. Anyway, yeah, but that's just a theory of mine. I think he intentionally wanted to lose it, hence why he kept saying crap, because he knew it would make her even more angry, kind of showing that she really wasn't having much an effect on him. You know, and the passing out, you know, he could have faked it, or I mean, I think they said no, actually no, Barbara tried to heal him, I think, if I remember. But yeah, I think he intentionally wanted it gone. But just like Zhongli, he had no problem giving his up.
Rex Lapis have been killed. Seal the exits.
This trip may be dangerous, yet you insist on going.
I have guarded this place for several hundred years, only to seek the nameless Yaksha. Do I request your approval?
You can't keep this up. Your strength won't last.
Daddy Zhongli, always looking after his children. Yeah, that quest was really, really good. As you saw, we had Ito there, and obviously Kuki was there, because, you know, they kind of hand in hand there. Yanfei, Yalan, Zhao, who Zhao is way more powerful than people give him credit for. But the quest was kind of about him. And the Yaksha, but that moment where we're trying to escape, and we have like freaking Ganondorf like Malice coming after us. Um, you know, he's like, okay, well, it's either I save them or we all die. But you know, he sacrifices himself, but Zhongli is like, nope, not today, buddy boy. Daddy's here to look after you. Um, you know, considering that Zhongli is the leader of the Adepti, um, so it's kind of his job to watch over them. But it was, I mean, it was so interesting having people like Ito and Kuki, and they're interacting with Zhao and Yanfei, and it was just a ragtag group of people. Um, but wait, what was it? Oh, the Booba sword. But yeah, Zhao, you know, it was really nice for Zhao to get some love, some time in the light. You know, he's a really good character, and people loved him basically since he was released. You know, when we saw him in the story, you know, first in the story, and so to get some more kind of Zhao story and learn more about the Yaksha and his friends who have died, you know, the members of the Yaksha, and you know, it was really good. It was really good.
Capable of using elemental energy without a vision. You are an exception, it appears. Exceptions. The enemy of eternity.
None can stand against the awesome power of the Raiden Shogun and the Muso no Hitotachi. I guess they weren't gonna put that one, but that's another one of the YouTuber Mr. Feet who does the little challenges. That's the one thing he always does, is that little cutscene with the almighty Raiden Shogun and the Muso no Hitotachi.
You will be inlaid upon this statue.
Sharingan. Nice little cinema. Yeah, that moment where Thoma, I call him Thoma. I know it's Toma. I'm not stupid. I call him Thoma. The moment where he has his vision ripped away from him, and it's about to be, you know, with the rest of them in the statue of the omnipresent God. And the traveler's like, oh, that's not happening. And Raiden Shogun is just like, you really think you stand a chance against the almighty Raiden Shogun and the Muso no Hitotachi? And then after they escape, after that little, he gets dragged into the plane of Euthymia, and he just gets bodied. The traveler has no hope of fighting this chick. And when they out there, he gets saved, and yeah, then we're persona non grata. We're enemy number one. She's like, yeah, Next time, my lightning will strike twice. And you're like, oh. So that's how she wants to play it. And of course, the second time, actually, I can't say anything because it may show. I don't know. But, yeah. This was actually pretty shocking. Because, literally, because it's from the Raiden Shogun, who is Electro, who is lightning incarnate.
So strong, but how? I am a Snezhnayan diplomat. You know what happens if you lay a finger on me. I swear, if you strike me, I will make sure. The Fatui will make sure that your precious Inazuma... Stop! I order you! And you! Filthy rats! All of you!
You are the enemy of eternity. But as the victor, I acknowledge your honor. Therefore, I shall allow you to leave Tenshukaku alive.
Tenshukaku alive. But then she doesn't. But she doesn't. Actually, is that the next one? Yeah, never mind. Senior, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, but one. Our boys, or Traveler, is either one, holding dull sword like it's gonna do something. Don't you come any closer. Don't make me bonk you with the dull sword. Like that was gonna do anything. I love how Signora, like, I order you. It's like, bitch, you realize you're talking to the Archon, right? You don't order anyone. She orders you. The fact that we see how many times she actually got hit, and just, it was like lightning. It's just so many times. Also, that crispy kind of sizzling that was added. That was the person who added that. That doesn't. That's not part of the game. But just so easily, and it shows the level of strength and power, the difference between someone like Signora and the Archon, which shows these Archons are not weak as we think. And Venti could have easily taken her on, but as I said, I think he wanted his Gnosis taken. Because you see how casually this chick can murder someone. So, seeing that, you kind of, at first, but then when she starts charging at the, Raiden Shogun, you're like, oh yeah, this bitch just signed her death warrant. It's over. We're not going to be seeing this. We're never going to be playing as her ever, because she's going to be dead. But yeah, her allowing us to leave Tenshukaku alive for now, and then we get this.
There will always be those who dare to brave the lightning's glow.
So many things about the one Kazuha. Not only is he trying to take on the Raiden Shogun, but he activates a second vision. And that opens so many possibilities for the future where we could have possibly two visions, or at least for the Traveler, two elements at the same time, maybe combining them in a way. I know we get elemental reactions, but for maybe those people who don't want to have an entire team, that would really make it like, oh yeah, I'm going to choose like fire and ice, so you get melt, or fire and electro to get overcharge or something. That would, being able to do that, because we know it's possible now. Kazuha had two visions. But I think someone like the Traveler, who is not part of Teyvat, who is an outland, you know, he's an outlander. He's not from Teyvat. Being able to harness and use, we know he can use, they can use the powers, the elemental powers whenever they want. We've seen it. He put on a little show for Kachina, you know, different elemental abilities. So for us gameplay wise, being able to do something like that, and kind of, you know, for people who do want to have like a solo adventure, choosing between elements, that would be really, really cool. So not only does Kazuha activate a second vision, you know, his friend's vision, he actually holds his own for the most part against the almighty Raiden Shogun and the Muso no Hitotachi. No, but, you know, he seems like he had the upper hand. But once she kind of realized, she's like a master tactician. Now that she knows what he can do, she's on guard. She's already thinking. But of course, there's no need for that. Everyone starts charging, and we get pulled into the plane of Euthymia once again. And that's where we have our final little confrontation with her, where Miko is essentially the one who saves us. Because once again, we're no match for her. We're no match for the Raiden Shogun. So Miko is the one who ends up having to save us with the power of friendship. But it's a great moment where, you know, Kazuha kind of takes control of the situation, and just through pure determination and all that, he is able to activate a second vision, and he's able to use that vision, not his animo vision. He's able to use that electro vision. And I would have loved, like I said, I would have loved to see something like him using both together. That would have been really, I think that would have really thrown the Raiden Shogun off, and that might have given him more of an upper hand. A person with two visions using both of them simultaneously together as a, you know, a combined attack, that'd be so cool. But yeah, I remember first seeing that, the second vision activating, but first the, you know, the eye and the Raiden Shogun just coming out, and just this massive, I remember the first time seeing that, and I was like, holy shit. I thought she said she's going to let us walk out alive. It's like, she did let you walk out alive. And then as soon as you exited the grounds, now she can come and try to kill you. But anyway, the doctor's first appearance, and he also stayed in Sumeru. Or did he?
What are all these people doing here at this hour of the night?
The triumphant hero returns at last. And to a rather spectacular welcome, even if I do say so myself.
You're the outcast, expelled from the academia.
Indeed I am. Although these days they tend to call me the Doctor. If you're looking for your researcher friend, she has already been taken into confinement. With some basic caution, she could have discovered the listening device on her person. Clearly, she lacks the degree of rigor expected of a true scholar.
The people of Sumeru City. What have you done to them?
I simply made some minor adjustments to their Akasha terminals. Now they can deposit information directly into the subconscious. As you can see, all these lovely people now believe this traveler is a hero who has just saved the world. My experiment is a success. And now it seems they can no longer hold back their sheer adoration.
Oh no! What should we do? These are all just regular people! Leave now. You need to get out of here. But that guy's a Fatui Harbinger! We can't just leave you here! Nor can I abandon the people of Sumeru! Don't worry. We'll meet again outside of the city.
I see. You appear to have overridden their mental faculties with your own consciousness. To possess such a powerful mind, you must be the god of wisdom.
Well, there's a spoiler alert. Yeah, so during the Sumeru Archon quest, Catherine isn't exactly a human. People have kind of theorized that she was like some kind of robot or, you know, android or something, because she's all over the place and she has what appears to be like a key type hole on the back of her neck. And sometimes when you're standing near her, you can hear error. And people are like, is this part of the game or is she actually a robot? And it turns out that that's exactly the case. She's not real. She's not real. She's like an android robot kind of thing. Which would made it easy for Nahida to possess, because Nahida's body is locked up, so she can have her consciousness go around all over the place. But since she needed a physical body, she just kind of possessed Catherine, which comes with a downside, obviously, considering Catherine, while she is a robot, she's not a god. So she's more susceptible to things, like getting stabbed. Yeah, so as I said, you know, she can send her consciousness around, and kind of in that moment she could found something able to hold her consciousness in the form of Catherine. But as you saw, she's still locked up. She's still imprisoned. So when it's kind of just like she gets booted out, you know, nothing really happens to her. It's just that when something like that is like fatally wounded, but considering Catherine's a robot, she's not fatally wounded, but it kind of just ejects her consciousness and she just kind of wakes up in her little prison. But yeah, we definitely did not expect to see Catherine get stabbed like that. That was completely out of nowhere, and we did not think Hoyo would go that route. And also, what is with this dude's ankle? Like, or actually, I think it's just the way the thing is. No, that's definitely the way his ankle. Like, what is so... I don't know, maybe because it's a lack of detail. It's like, even at the other ankle, you know, down there, it's like no detail. So it just looks like it's not even a leg and a foot. It just looks like his leg is bending the wrong way. Nahida, our small bean, our sweet little small bean. Imagine being a god and being imprisoned by the very people you're supposed to protect and watch over. Also, I forgot to bring it with the doctor. The doctor's crazy. Like, their whole point is to collect the Gnosis, but this dude, like, has multiple versions of himself, and he experiments on people, and he's like Orochimaru. He doesn't care. Even though he has orders to get the Gnosis, the Tsaritsa doesn't stop them from, you know, kind of achieving what they want. So if he wants to experiment on people, she's like, this is fine. Okay, as long as you get my Gnosis, I really don't care. But her and Nahida and the doctor are kind of able to work out a deal in the end. And I think, if I remember, Nahida gives him her Gnosis. Again, there is clearly... She knows who the doctor is. She knows who he works for. She knows that he's a Fatui Harbinger. And yet she willingly as well gives her Gnosis away. One, it shows that maybe the Tsaritsa is not the bad guy or bad woman after all. And two, you know, people, the gods, you know, the Archons are just tired of Celestia. They feel like they don't have any need for it. But yeah, the doctor is just crazy, and we may be seeing him again in was it Not Cry, the place that's kind of like outside of Snezhnaya. Well, we won't be going there for a little while, but that's pretty much our next major stop, I think. Because we've got just Snezhnaya left. That's the only nation we have left right now, Snezhnaya. So Not Cry, and then probably Snezhnaya afterwards. But anyway, Alhaitham betrays everyone.
Well, what do we have here? So you stole that divine knowledge capsule. Traitor! You traitor! Even the most rational scholar will yearn for the power of a god in a moment of desperation. Aren't you doing the exact same thing as me, Alhaitham? Unfortunately for you, no god will lend you their power. Azar! He has gone completely insane. Take him to the Matra and exile him to Aru village. Then find someone to take these two to the confinement room. I'll deal with them later.
Grand Sage, we've finished all required preparations for Nyagarbha Day. We may begin to enter the capsules now.
Excellent. You may begin.
So as you can see, he doesn't really betray anyone. It was all part of the plan. But Azar, God, I hate that guy. I hate that guy. The sages are the ones who imprisoned Nahida, thinking that, you know, she wasn't as wise as Greater Lord Rukkhadevata, and instead of allowing her to grow and, you know, become more wise at, you know, being the, you know, Archon, you know, god of wisdom, they're like, oh no, we're just gonna imprison her and take her gnosis for ourselves and use it. And so the sages, the academia, are the reason why she's imprisoned. And from the moment we get there, like, I think, if I remember, we have encounters with him several times, but this was a moment. It's like, I really want this guy to die. Like, I don't care. I want this man to die. Al-Haytham, Al-Haytham, do not miss this man. You need to rush in there and take this dude out. He does not deserve to live. Again, imagine you're the god and you're imprisoned by the very people you're supposed to rule over. Not just for a little while, for 500 years. You're just in this small, encapsulated area. You can't move. You can't do anything. And you're being imprisoned by the very people you're supposed to watch over and protect. And all because, well, she's not as smart as Greater Lord Rukkhadevata. For the dumbest reason. Like, Nahida was, as soon as she was kind of born into existence, they're like, well, she's just not smart enough. Anyway, Nahida gets smushed. This is the fight with Scaramouche, when he becomes a god. Not a very good god, but a god nonetheless. They kind of successfully create a god.
This is supposed to be a battle between gods, yet you choose to hide behind a mortal. And now, you're acting like you'd sacrifice yourself for a human. Are you having fun proving a false sense of heroism to yourself, Boor?
The data collection is almost complete. Do you even know how many times you've tried to take my gnosis from me? We just concluded the 168th loop. Did you know that in the effort to create you, the people of Sumeru were forced to live through the exact same number of Sub-Zerus festivals and Samsara cycles?
I know, crazy, right? Nahida's like, I may look sweet and innocent, but I've got another little special ability. It's called Mind Fuck. So, yeah. Everything Scaramouche was experiencing was basically just an endless loop. Thinking that he was just, it's kind of like redoing the same, it's like we did. It's like, well, this all looks very familiar. Like, the Sub-Zero Festival, didn't we just do this? But he was experiencing the same thing. And it was basically to collect data. You know, it was like, okay, we need to know his tactics, we need to know how to beat him. You know, so it's just, she kind of put, as soon as we got there, she basically put the genjutsu on him, and he was just like, and endless loop of thinking he's winning and this and that. And that's why she's like, do you know how many times you've tried to take my gnosis from me? It's been 168 times, dude. 168 times. Really great moment because you first see Nahida get, bleh, and you're like, oh my god. But then she's like, do you know how many times you've done this already? You're not gonna win this time. Maybe the 169th. The Archon quest in Sumeru was actually really, really good. Kind of dragged on, especially with the Subsarius festival, kind of the thing going on, but this last part with Scaramouche and Nahida and the fight, and it was good.
Are you done with your tricks? Can I finally take this as a real battle between gods?
I'll leave this to you, the first sage of Booer. We all nestle under...
Oh god. Oh god, not this. Not this. No, please don't do this to me. This is probably one of the more emotional ones, and it gets people every time. Like, you can play this quest, make different accounts and get up to this point, and you're still gonna feel some kind of emotion. But yeah, she's like, yeah, I'm gonna leave this to you, and it's like, my pleasure. The first sage of Booer, which that's amazing. That's amazing. She's like, screw the other sages. You're one of my sages. You've got the wisdom. You've got the compassion. You've done what you need to protect me, to set me free. You're a sage, officially a sage of the Archon. And that is so badass. Oh God, I know, for people who are watching who have done this, you're like, no, John, don't do it. Don't do it. No, I'm not ready for this. Oh God. It is. I thought it was just gonna be like a small portion. Oh God.
The great tree of wisdom, peering out to perceive the world. From the earth and from the rain, we perceive its wonders, until we become a white bird to perch atop a branch, and finally snap off the most important leaf. Once upon a time, I alone dreamed in this world. In my dreams, everybody would also dream after they fell asleep. Wild and wonderful thoughts would emerge from their minds. Some tumbled to the ground, and others floated to the sky, connecting all things in the world into one dazzling net. Among a plethora of worlds were numerous smaller worlds, all of fate, finding within the tapestry their brilliant glow. I gradually understood that these indescribable and constantly changing things are the most profound things in the world. Only they can completely repel the madness. Only dreams can awaken consciousness from the deepest darkness. This question, yet also the one who sought a solution. Saving the world with the dreams of the people used to be my answer. And now, you've also found your own answer, and I shall return all the dreams to the people. People of Sumeru, may you be blessed tonight with the sweetest of dreams.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Like I said, it gets you emotional. You're not gonna, you're not gonna, oh, but it gets you emotional. You get to the moment where she's like, it's like I can fix this, but you have to do this, but in the process, you're gonna, I'm pretty much gonna be wiped from everyone's existence, like I never existed. And he is like, well, how can I do that? That's cruel. How can I just, forget about you? Oh my god. Oh, the fucking pain. Oh, the world shall know pain. Oh god, it was so hard the first time. It was hard the first time, and it's hard watching it for like the 100th time. It doesn't get easier. It it's one of the more emotional scenes in the game. One of the best moments in any of the Archon quests. You know, it, between the music and and Irminsul and Nahida and Ruka Devada, hugging each, and Nahida kind of realizing that she has to do it, and where you kind of see her hand kind of start to glow, and that's when she, she's kind of, oh god, it is so freaking emotional. It really is. Like there are emotional moments in the past in parts of the other parts of the quest, but that was like a moment where it really made you, kind of tear up because of just how emotional it was. Imagine having to forget someone like that and not even knowing that you're forgetting them. When everything's done, she's going to be wiped from history, from memory. If the traveler was to bring up Ruka Nevada, they'll be like, "Who's that? Who's that?" I mean, imagine that's what your life ends up as, where people mention your name, or someone mentions your name, and they have no fucking clue who you are because you've been wiped from history, you've been wiped from memory, you no longer exist.
Almost there now. Whew. Swapping two people is harder work than you might think. Even a master magician like me can't guarantee I'll get it right the first time. Hey, wait. Is this the back one? I can't tell. They both look the same inside. Huh? Nope, that's not it. I'll try again.
7.
Hey, slow down! Honestly.
5. 4. 3.
Whoops! That doesn't count!
0.
Ta-da!
What happened?
Navia falls into yucky water. So yeah, that moment, there's like an entire case afterwards. We're basically Lenny's defense. And we have to find this evidence and try to prove that he wasn't the one who killed the guy. It was really good, a really, really good quest. It really was like that was like the beginning. That's like when we first got to Fontaine. It was a really good quest. You have this amazing moment where you see like these magic tricks going on with him and Lynette, and then you have this tragic accident that happens, and it's just out of nowhere. Like everyone's happy. You see Nouvellette is like, oh yes, according to the judgment of the Ortrice Mécanique d'Elise Cardinal. This is amazing. This is amazing show. And then crush. I actually, that was pretty, it was pretty shocking. It was pretty shocking. And here's, and this is another moment, was pretty sad. Because of what it implies and what we know is going to happen afterwards to certain characters. But Navia falls to the yucky water. So they didn't say it, but you saw a little caption that she was able to see Malus and Silver. So they die. Not really die, but they become Oceanids again. They're the all the, you know, the primordial seawater essentially just kind of, it kind of reverts them back to being Oceanids. And because of them being Oceanids, they no longer are going to have the chance of becoming true humans once everything is said and done with Neuvillette, you know, kind of forgiving Fontaine. So pretty much anyone who dies before he makes his final judgment is going to remain as an Oceanid and kind of be within the spring, the water, not really able to reemerge again. So it is a death for them in a way. And I liked Malus and Silver. They were really cool. They were Navia's bodyguards, her friends, family, not family, but they treated her like family. And she treated them like family. And Malus was great. Funny guy. But yeah, it was, at least she got to kind of see them before it happened. So the one moment I can actually forgive Navia for crying, because it seems like that chick is always crying. But the one moment I can actually understand why she was crying. But she's obviously rescued. She's rescued by Monsieur Neuvillette. But one of the, getting a little further, I think we're going to Natlan, aren't we? Oh yeah, we're going to Natlan. Awesome. And we're already at an hour, so we've got about 10 minutes left. Let's get through it. I love the detail here. It shows you how long Child has actually been fighting this thing, so much that it's breaking his armor. Now remember, the delusion, the longer you use it, it saps your life away. You essentially die because of it. If you remember Tepe in Inazuma, they used the delusion only a few times, and his hair was completely gray, and he essentially dies. This dude was fighting for 8 hours or days on end, and all he gets is a little. It just shows how strong Child actually is. That he was able to use his delusion for so long, and all he's getting is a little bit of chipping, and then he just kind of passes out. He just passes out. I love the narwhal. Absolutely just amazing look. The kind of like how it looks like primordial seawater, and kind of almost like the grid, or almost like computerized at the end on its tail. It's got like that grid kind of look, but it's such a cool looking kind of creature. Here we go. I'm not crying. We have another one. This is another one. Another one. This was the peak of Fontaine. This moment, this whole end part right here. The emotions, the between the dialogue, the music, the moment where we see Neuvillette outside, and what knowing what we know about him, and the little thing people would say about the whole Hydro Dragon. It's just so emotional. And this was another one. I'm like, oh my god, oh my god. I'm not crying.
The hour of my execution is almost here. For the sinner, the curtain call has come. I know I may not sound it, but faced with death, I find myself a little afraid. Perhaps this is one thing both gods and humans have in common. Farewell, Neuvillette. I hope you've enjoyed the part you played these 500 years.
Neuvillette, hereby declare, people of Fontaine, your sins are forgiven.
Okay, so the whole Hydro Dragon, don't cry. That rain, basically when it rains in Fontaine, it's pretty much tied to Neuvillette's emotions. So it is pouring. It's not a light drizzle. No, it is pouring. That shows you how his emotion is at that moment. He is destroyed. You know, seeing Focalor, hearing what she had to say, watching her sacrifice herself, he is destroyed internally. And the outside is showing that. You know, everyone thought it was just a little thing like, oh, Hydro Dragon, don't cry. We learn that the rain, at least in Fontaine, is the Hydro Dragon, and it's because he's emotional. So when we see this moment of him up into the sky and it's pouring rain, you're like, oh my God. That rain started basically as soon as he saw Focalor die. It is the freaking 5D chess from Focalor, having to have all this stuff go the way she wanted it to, hoping that things would follow the course that she planned, hoping that Farina would be able to last 500 years, hoping that Neuvillette would find it in his heart to not blame the people of Fontaine, and he would forgive them of their sins, and you know, by doing so, making them true humans, giving them real blood instead of you know, the primordial seawater pumping through their veins. She had this plan, and she set into motion. But Farina and Neuvillette were the two big factors that she was like, I have to just put my faith in them. If one of them fails and does something the opposite of what I'm hoping, the whole thing goes up in smoke. So she had to put her faith in them, and they both did exactly what she was hoping. And because of that, Fontaine was saved. And the moment where you see the rain stop, it's like, oh my God. He's the Hydro Dragon. He could do that if he wants. If he wanted the rain to go the other direction, he can do it. He has complete control of Hydro. Anywhere. If he was to go to another nation, he controls the water there. He is the Hydro Dragon of the planet. So if the rain's coming down, he's like, nope. He could just send it right back up. Just right back up. But for that moment, it just stops completely. Like, such a finale of this freaking quest.
People like us. Let our blades do the talk.
So I'm sad to see they didn't show the finale where everyone is saved and Farina steps out of the opera house, and you know, that's the true finale of the quest. You know, everyone is saved. We see the water, you know, the place is flooded, but then the water starts to recede. And we see that everyone is still alive because they're now humans. They're not beings of, you know, Egeria. They're not mimics with primordial seawater coursing through them. No, they're real humans now with blood in them. So they're no longer going to dissolve in the water. And the moment where Farina steps down, she's like, the prophecy was wrong. Like, no, you did. You fulfilled it. You got the happy ending. You know, you withstood 500 years of this mental torture. So the prophecy wasn't wrong. It was just averted. You know, and she can live her life she's not cursed with immortality anymore by Focalor, so she's going to age and all that, but considering how aging works in Genshin, she's already 500 years old. She still might have another 500. She may die at a normal age, like in her 60s or 70s, but she's going to have a normal life now. She's no longer the Hydro Archon. She no longer has to worry about protecting her people. She can just live her life. And I think that's probably the best ending anyone could ask for. It's like, well, Fontaine's safe, but Farina doesn't have to go through this crap anymore. To see what she had to go through for 500 years, not being able to tell anyone, having to keep up this act of, I am Focalor, and then seeing her when she goes home, or she's in her, sitting in her bed, and she's kind of like talking to herself, trying to cope with the day, and like, oh, I think I did pretty good today. I don't think anyone knows the truth yet, and so but tomorrow's another day. She has to give herself talks to just keep herself going. But then we see her when she finally breaks down. It's like, I don't know if I could do this anymore. It's been 500 years. How much longer does this have to go on for? And you're like, oh God, Farina, please, if I can reach through the screen, I can hug you. But yeah, I think that was more what people cared about in that quest. It was that Farina was Farina. Because she deserved it. After 500 years of that shit, I don't think any one of us would have lasted more than maybe a couple. I definitely could not go for 500 years. I couldn't. But now we're in Natlan, and we have the captain. Oh, this sexy motherfucker right here. The longest battle cutscene. It actually was pretty long. It was amazing though.
Talking.
Masters of the Night Wind.
Send word. The captain and his followers must be apprehended.
Yeah, so the captain. Now, from an elemental standpoint, yeah, he stood no chance. He's cryo, she's pyro. Cryo is completely weak to pyro because what does fire do to ice? It melts it. So from a elemental standpoint, he stood no chance against her. But he would have been able to keep going had he not been hit right here, which is very important, which I'm not going to talk about just yet because I know it's coming up. But the fact that he was, I wouldn't say fighting on par with her, because I think she probably could have just easily dealt with him, but she didn't want to kill him or anything. She was just trying to subdue him. But that moment, it just, I'm like, what in the name of fucking Sephiroth versus Cloud is this shit? Like, that's what it reminded me of. It was like watching Cloud and Sephiroth fight, or, with the like freaking DBZ or something. I'm like, what is this? Are we watching a freaking anime, or are we playing Genshin Impact? Which, I mean, I know anime type characters, so, but this is probably the most anime. I mean, this area, this nation probably had the most anime type moments in the entire game so far. But that fight,
You've done well. Now come home.
this is a great moment. Punches the fake sky. But yeah, so Kachina dies. We're charged. She dies during the whole Night War thing and against the Abyss. Normally the Ode of Resurrection would bring her back, but the Ode of Resurrection isn't working for some reason. So we're basically charged with finding out why. We find out from Kachina that something with the Wyab, and they're basically kind of infected with the Abyss, and she's not really able to be revived. But at that point, it's like she's like, I don't want to be revived. I need to find out. I'm figuring out what's going on down here. So we kind of go into the Night Kingdom, not only to save Kachina, but also to find out why is the Ode of Resurrection not working. So we eventually find out why, and we kind of get stuck there. We get this Abyss crap coming after us, and we have this opening, very small opening, and just as we're about to reach it, it closes on us. And then Mawika kind of punches her way into where we are. Because she can do anything. Like, she punches the fake sky. Now, this was a huge moment because you're like, what? Wait, what? What? But here we go. Hoyo's like, don't mind that. Don't mind that. So she's fighting Goisoithoth, who is like this freaking eldritch terror type creature. And this happens. We get this broken sky. We see a shattered moon. And we've been hearing about the fake sky ever since the beginning. You know, Scaramouche said something about I think it was the one of the earliest events when we met him. He was talking about the fake sky. And people thought that they were just going to abandon this plot line, but no, they're still intending to show this whole fake sky thing. And we see that the sky is indeed fake. So whatever this is, the sky, she punched a hole through it. And you can see it's kind of like either digital or it's like a hologram type thing. And then it temporarily just opens and you can see what's actually there. And then it closes back up because it basically fixes itself. But the whole sky is fake. I remember seeing, I was like, what the fuck? What the hell is this? The red kind of should remind you of something, or a certain group of people who exists in a place that isn't so great. But people are like, it's the shattered moon, and it's like, what? What? Like, the whole scene was great, seeing her, you know, punch Goisoithoth like that, and all, but then this happens, and it's like, oh, just ignore that. It's like the sword and Silithus. What sword and Silithus? What tear in the sky? What are you guys talking about? But it was so almost menacing looking. You're looking up, and imagine you see the sky has a hole in it. And on the other side, you see this red space with a shattered moon. And you realize that the sky is in fact fake. Like, how would your mind even comprehend this?
What are you doing? Are you taking all their souls with you? You're just an ordinary person. You can't bear that kind of burden.
No hero should have to wander alone.
The curse of immortality. Using immortality to fight death. Using my rules against me.
Make your choice. Reject your rules. Or allow me to trigger the paradox.
The curse of immortality must stand. Use it to fulfill your final wish.
Well fought, my lord. Thank you for everything.
This time, let's go together.
Yes. Let's go together.
There must always be a Lich King. World Quest cutscenes, nice. Top tier VA moments in Genshin. Character using their skill. Yeah, the captain, one of the coolest characters. The dude didn't sleep for 500 years. Cursed with immortality, like true immortality. Like, this dude cannot die at all. It's not like a Farina sort of immortality. No, this is true life. So for 500 years, this dude was going around trying to find a way to kind of resolve some issues with the ley lines and with his people, and Renova, who is the giant multi-eyed thing. That's not what they really look like. It's just kind of a manifestation of their power. Renova is one of the shades in, you know, Celestia. But just the middle finger this man gives to them. You know, when she says, with the whole, using my rules against me, it's so good. And yet she's not gonna, she chooses to give up the whole, except needing to, have a life sacrificed, or, life, because of the whole deal made between Xbalanque and her ages ago, where she was Mawiko was pretty much having to die. It's like a sort of payment. But the captain steps in, and he's basically like, you can pick one. With your deal and all that, and with me, you can either, remove this curse, or you can allow me to kind of mess your plan up. And that's when she's kind of like, the curse of immortality must stand. And you can hear in her voice where she's like, the curse of immortality must stand. She's like, she's hell-bent on keeping that rule in place. But Mawika ends up not having to die because of it. But now people are like, well, is he actually dead? No, he's not dead. You can see him. His body's still like breathing. It's just basically like the lights are on, but no one's home. His body's still there. It's almost like his consciousness is still there. It's just his spirit, his soul is gone. It's merged with, Lord of the Lord of the Night. Giving her immortality, meaning she can now rewrite the ley lines and allow people who die, even outsiders, allowing them to die. If they die in Natlan, they can be, into the Night Kingdom, and the ley lines are pretty much hers to kind of like rewrite now. Which is why now people in Natlan can just finally leave. Because now they don't have to worry about the whole ley line issue of, if I die out here, I'm just going to fade away. I'm not going to, be reabsorbed into the ley lines or anything. No, it's now we can finally go and explore places. But the dude waited 500 years for that. Not just for himself, but for all the souls that he had in him, because his heart was kind of modified to, convert souls and everything to like memories and all that, but he used it as like a safe haven for people he fought with. So it's like, well, they died. There's nothing we can do because the ley lines are so messed up. I can hold them in here until I find a way to help them. So 500 years he had to deal with voices. He had to deal with no sleep. He had to deal with trying to find a way to fix the ley lines. And then when he talked to the Lord of Night, he kind of explained the situation, and she agreed. She thought that this was the best outcome. Not only would it save lives, especially Mawika's life, but it would give her eternal life, and the ley lines would be able to be rewritten and fixed to where those souls would have a place to go now. But yeah, his body is still there. It's still breathing. It's just the lights are on, no one's home. His body and like I said, consciousness or whatever is still kind of there. It's just his spirit or soul is gone. So it opens up the possibility of someone coming back, even if it's not specifically him, because his soul, his spirit is now merged with the Lord of Night. So it won't be him, but say maybe a third descender whose body is currently being used as the Gnosis, or some other person who needs a body. Well, you've got a free body sitting right there, a strong one at that. So, but yeah. I wish they would have shown the first part where, you know, he's being talked to. He's like, I grant you the title of Sentinel Knight. And then, you know, continue to safeguard the glory of Conria. And he's like, the glory of Conria. You know, just his voice, it's... Woo! That's a sexy man right there. We never see his face, and you know he's sexy as hell. You already know without even seeing him. Sexy as hell. But, yeah, so some of the moments from Archon Quest, I see a few others that I might do. I'm actually interested with the VA one. Because the voice acting is really good. It's really good when it needs to be. So, but yeah, anyway, I knew it was... Actually, it's a lot shorter than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be like 2-3 hours long, but no, we're only at an hour and a half. I told you it was going to be a long one, so if you're here, I don't want to hear any comments like, oh my god, it's been all this time. Yeah, I told you in the beginning it was going to be long. I told you! But, you misheard attack voice lines? Let the world collide. But yeah, let me know favorite moment or most shocking moment of the Archon quest for you, for you guys. God, that the Sumeru one, the thing with Nihida and Fossilor, it always gets me. Like I said, it's not going to be enough to make like, but no, it does get the waterworks going, you know, because it is emotional. You know, it's you're never gonna see me actually like, you know, like you see some YouTubers, but I will get a little teary-eyed. I usually don't show emotions, so if you see me getting teary-eyed, you know it's good. I don't get emotional like that, you know, to where I have, you know, on the verge of tears. So if I'm watching something and it's got me at least teary-eyed, it's good. It's good. But yeah, let me know your favorite moment in the Archon quests, and but that's gonna do it for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.